Welcome to my crochet tutorial. Today I will be showing you how to make this Everlyn crochet tote bag. This medium-sized bag measures approximately 12 inches tall by 13.5 inches wide, and the round bottom of the bag measures approximately 10 inches deep. This tote is the perfect size for a trip to the beach, the market, or to use as a project bag. This is an easy pattern, great for both beginners and experienced crocheters alike. The bag is worked in the round from the bottom up to the top. And if you would like the full written pattern, it can be purchased at rubywebscrochet.com or rubywebs.etsy.com. To make this crochet bag, you will need approximately 300 yards of a super bulky size 6 yarn. I'm using YM brand Re-spun in the color Hazelwood. Other similar yarns like YM brand Hometown USA will also work well. You will need a 6.5 millimeter crochet hook, a 9 millimeter crochet hook, a stitch marker, a ruler for checking your gauge, and a tapestry needle for weaving in your loose ends. I added a fabric liner to my bag, and the liner is totally optional. However, it does give the bag more structure and support. And I purchased this fabric here at Hobby Lobby. And to view my video tutorial for making the liner, see the link in the comments section below. So instructions are also provided in the written pattern. If you decide to add a liner to your tote, you will need a yard of fabric. I also purchased this at Hobby Lobby. You will need fabric scissors, a ruler, a fabric marker or chalk, an iron, and other just very basic sewing supplies. So I used a sewing machine to make the liner, but you can sew it by hand with a needle and thread if you prefer. So grab your supplies and let's get started on the bag. So we are ready to begin making the bottom of the bag. And before we start, I do want to say, if you're following along with the written pattern, the numbers at the end of each round in parentheses in bold font, that is your total stitch count for that round. So that is the total number of stitches you should have at the end of each round. So I always give a total stitch count at the end of each row or round in my patterns. So we will start with a 6.5 millimeter crochet hook, and be sure you have a stitch marker handy because you are going to need that. And we are going to begin with the magic ring. And if you don't like using the magic ring, you can always, let me show you another way to do this. You can always just attach your yarn to your hook with a slip knot. Do a chain 4. Slip stitch in the first chain to form a ring. Like that. So this is your ring here. Chain 1 and then begin round 1. Okay, you'll just work your stitches into that ring. But you can also do the magic ring method. So you'll just hold your hand out in front, and this is my tail here, and you're just going to wrap. Be sure to leave kind of a long tail. So wrap the yarn around your hand over that bottom piece. Reach under that bottom strand of yarn and pull the top piece through like that. Kind of hold it with your hand here and then grab the other end of the yarn and make a chain 1. Okay, so in this round, we will be working into the ring and kind of around the tail over here too. So what I like to do, I kind of hold the tail in with my left hand. So I've done the chain 1. Now we're just going to place 8 half double crochet in the ring. So yarn over, insert your hook into the ring, yarn over, pull through your work. You can see I'm going around the tail too. Yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. So that's the first half double crochet. So we are going to place a stitch marker in the top of that first stitch. So at the end of this round, we're not going to join with a slip stitch to the top of the first stitch because the bottom of the bag is made in a continuous round. You just keep crocheting around. You don't join at the end of the round. So that is why it's important to place a stitch marker in the first stitch so you can see where the round begins and ends. If we were joining, it's much easier to see, but when we're not joining at the end of the round, it becomes hard to see. Okay, so I've done 1 half double crochet. I need 7 more into the ring. So yarn over, insert your hook into the ring, yarn over, pull through your work, so you should have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. So there we have 2 half double crochet so far. Okay, so we need 6 more. So yarn over, insert your hook into the ring, yarn over, pull through your work, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. So there we have 3. Yarn over, insert your hook into the ring, yarn over, pull through your work, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. So there's 4 half double crochet. Let me move this out of the way. So it should look like this so far. Yarn over, insert your hook into the ring, yarn over, pull through your work, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. You can see as I'm doing this too, I'm kind of holding my tail next to the ring and crocheting right around the tail. Yarn over, insert your hook into the ring, yarn over, pull through your work, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. So we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 half double crochet. So 2 more. Yarn over, insert your hook into the ring, yarn over, pull through your work, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, yarn over, insert your hook into the ring, yarn over, pull through your work, pull through all 3 loops. Okay, so we should have a total of 8 half double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. Okay, now we are going to just pull our tail to close the ring, just like that. Okay, so it should look like this, and we're not going to join to this stitch here. We're just going to keep crocheting around. So we're ready for round 2. And in this round, from rounds 2 to 10, you will just be adding 8 stitches to each round. So we're just increasing right now by 8 stitches each round. So in this round, we will work 2 half double crochet in each stitch around. So you should end with a total of 16 stitches. Okay, so we're going to go right into this marked stitch here, make our first half double crochet. Let me remove my stitch marker. So there's 1. Place a stitch marker in that stitch. Okay, we're going to do another one in the same stitch. 1, so this is 2. Okay, 2 more in the next stitch. So there's 1 and 2. Okay, so we should have done 4 half double crochet so far. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 half double crochet in the next stitch. So we're going to do another one in the same stitch. Okay, 2 more in the next stitch. There's 1 and 2. Okay, 2 more in the next stitch. So there's 1 and 2. Okay, so it should look like this so far. So 2 more in the next stitch. we're getting close to the end here. We should have 2 more stitches left to work into. So 2 in this stitch. There's 1, 2, and then 2 in the last stitch. Okay, so let's count our stitches to be sure we have the correct number. We should have 16 at the end of round 2. So this is our first stitch here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so we are ready to move on to round 3. And again, in this round, we're just increasing by 8 stitches. So we will work a half double crochet into the first stitch, 2 half double crochet into the next stitch. And you can see if you're following along with the written pattern in brackets, I have written half double crochet in next stitch, 2 half double crochet in next stitch. And then outside of the brackets, it says repeat around. So you will just repeat that sequence in the brackets all the way around. So half double crochet in the next stitch, 2 half double crochet in the next stitch, half double crochet in the next stitch, 2 half double crochet in the next stitch. So you just repeat that all the way around. So half double crochet in this first stitch here. So remove the stitch marker. Half double crochet in that first stitch. Again, be sure to place your stitch marker back in that first stitch. 2 half double crochet in the next stitch. So there's 1 and 2. Half double crochet in the next stitch. 2 half double crochet in the next stitch. Half double crochet in the next stitch, 2 half double crochet in the next stitch. So there's 1, 2. We're just going to repeat this all the way around. Half double crochet in the next stitch, 2 half double crochet in the next stitch. Half double crochet in the next stitch, 2 half double crochet in the next stitch. So 1, 2, half double crochet in the next stitch, 2 half double crochet in the next stitch. Okay, so it should look like this so far. Half double crochet in the next stitch, 2 half double crochet in the next stitch. So there's 1, oops, 2. So we're coming to the end here. You can see I've got 2 stitches left to work into, so it'll be half double crochet in the next stitch, 2 half double crochet in the last stitch. Okay, so we should have a total of 24 stitches in this round. We had 16 in the last round, and then we added 8 to this round. So let's count. So here's our first stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I kind of split my yarn here. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 2, 23, 24. Perfect. Okay, so it should look like this so far. So all you're just gonna keep doing the same thing. For rounds 4 through 10, you will just be adding 8 stitches to each round. So in round 4, You're going to repeat that sequence in the brackets all the way around. So half double, you're going to place 1 half double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, 2 half double crochet in the next stitch, half double crochet in the next stitch, and then the next stitch, 2 half double crochet in the next stitch. You'll just repeat that all the way around. So we're just like slowly increasing up through round 10. Round 5, half double crochet in the next 3 stitches. So you do 1, 1, 1, and then 2 half double crochet in the next stitch. You'll just repeat that all the way around. So I'm going to keep working, and I will be back at the end of round 10. So I am at the end of round 10, and this is what it should look like so far. And I'm going to measure. So it's approximately 10 inches across. And this doesn't have to be perfect. It's not a sweater or something that has to fit us perfectly. So if your measurements are a little different than mine, that's okay. So at the end of round 10, you will notice, because we've been working in a continuous round, that the end of the round is much higher than the beginning of the round. So we need to kind of even this off, because starting with round 11, we will be joining at the end of each round. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove this stitch marker. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. We're going to remove this stitch marker. We are going to make a single crochet in the next 2 stitches. So there's 1 single crochet, and then single crochet in the next stitch. Then we're going to slip stitch in this next stitch. And we aren't counting these as like extra stitches. So when you count your stitches, you'll still have the same number in the round. All right, so now we are ready to begin round 11, and we are going to switch to a 9mm crochet hook. And in this round, you will start with the chain 1, which does not count as a stitch. And you're just going to repeat the stitch combination in the brackets all the way around. So we chain 1. Again, this doesn't count as a stitch. You're going to skip the first stitch, which is the stitch right here at the base of the chain 1. You're going to make 2 half double crochet in the next stitch. Skip the next stitch, 2 half double crochet in the next stitch. And it will be easier to see now that we're joining where the round begins and ends, but I still recommend putting a stitch marker in that first stitch. That way at the end of the round, when you slip stitch in the first stitch, you know exactly where to make that slip stitch. Okay, so chain 1, I've already done that. We're going to skip the first stitch at the base of the chain 1 and make 2 half double crochet in the next stitch. There's 1. And 2. Okay, I'm going to place a stitch marker in that first stitch, which was right here. So when I join at the end of the round, I just slip stitch into this marked stitch. You skip right over the chain 1 at the end. Okay, so skip the next stitch, 2 half double crochet in the next stitch. So it should look like this so far. You can see that skip stitch in between the 2 groups of half double crochet. Skip the next stitch, 2 half double crochet in the next stitch. Skip the next stitch, 2 half double crochet in the next stitch. So it should look like this so far. We're just going to do this all the way around. Skip the next stitch, 2 half double crochet in the next stitch. Okay, so I'm going to keep working. I am coming to the end of round 11. And I have 2 stitches left. this one and this one here. This is not a stitch here. This is the slip stitch that you made when you joined at the end of the last round. Okay, so you're going to skip this stitch and place 2 half double crochet in the last stitch. And if you have trouble like seeing where your last stitch is in the round, you can always you know, just place a stitch marker there. So for the next round, it's easy to see where your last stitch is. Okay, now we're going to join with a slip stitch to the first stitch, and that's this marked stitch right here. So you're just going to make a slip stitch in that stitch, just like that. Okay, so be sure that you still have 80 stitches. Let me zoom out here so you can see what this looks like. Be sure that you still have 80 stitches around. We're done increasing now, so your stitch count is going to stay the same for a little while here. And the side, you might notice the sides of the bag are starting to curl up, and that's normal because we're not increasing anymore, so the sides should start to curl up. This is actually going to be the outside of the bag. This is what the inside will look like, and you can just flip it the other way when it starts to curl up. So the outside is always facing here as we work. We are now just going to start repeating round 11. So for rounds 12 through 27, you will just repeat round 11. So we begin with a chain 1. Again, this does not count as a stitch. So all we're going to do is we're going to skip the first stitch, which is the stitch at the base of the chain 1, and place 2 half double crochet in the next stitch. We're just going to repeat that all the way around. So skip the first stitch, place 2 half double crochet in the next stitch. There's 1. Let's see here. I'm going to place a stitch marker in that first stitch just to make it easy to see where to join at the end of the round. We're going to do another half double crochet in that next stitch. Okay, we're going to skip over the next half double crochet here and place 2 half double crochet in the next stitch. Skip the next stitch, place 2 half double crochet in the next stitch. Okay, so it should look like this so far. I'm going to skip the next stitch, place 2 half double crochet in the next stitch. Skip the next stitch, 2 half double crochet in the next stitch. Okay, so it should look like this so far. Let me zoom out here so you can. Okay, so you're just going to keep doing this all the way around. You will place 2 half double crochet in your last stitch, just like you did in round 11. So you're just repeating round 11. I'm going to keep working and I'll be back at the end of this round. I am coming to the end of round 12 and I've got 4 stitches left. So I'm going to skip my next stitch, place 2 half double crochet in the next stitch. Okay, so I've got 2 stitches left. So I'm going to skip this next stitch, place 2 half double crochet in the last stitch. This time I am going to place a stitch marker in that last stitch, just so I know in the next round where to place my last stitch. It just makes it easier to see. Okay, we're going to join to the top of our first stitch with a slip stitch. Okay. Okay, so it should look like this, and you can see the sides are really starting to curl up nicely. And again, this is the outside of the bag, so they will turn the other way at the end here. Okay. For rounds 13 through 27, you will just continue to repeat round 11, just like we've been doing. So keep working on your bag, and I will be back at the end of round 27. I just finished with round 27. This is what the bag should look like so far. And this is our seam right here that blends in very nicely. You can hardly even notice it. So let's get started. Okay, in this round, we are just going to be placing a single crochet in the back loop of each stitch around. And we'll still be using our 9mm hook. So we'll begin with the chain 1. And we are going to place a single crochet in the back loop of the first stitch and in each stitch around. So let me show you where the back loop is. And again, we're working in that first stitch at the base of the chain 1 right here. Okay, so this is the front loop, and this is the back loop. So we're going to be going right into this back loop here. Okay, so single crochet in the back loop. So insert your hook into that back loop, yarn over, pull through your work, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So there's 1. Okay, we're going to go into the back loop of the next stitch, which is this loop right here. Make another single crochet. We're just going to do this all the way around. And again, you can always put a stitch marker in that first stitch to make it easy to see where to join at the end of the round. So I will go ahead and do that. Okay, so it should look like this so far. See, it gives it kind of a nice ribbed look. Okay, so I'm going to keep working, and I will be back at the end of this round. So I am coming to the end of round 28. I have 2 stitches left to work into. It's this stitch here and this stitch here. So single crochet in the back loop, those last 2 stitches. Make a slip stitch in the top of your first stitch to join. I'm going to remove this stitch marker and set it aside. Okay, we are now going to place a stitch marker in that joining slip stitch that we just made. And this is going to be where you will place your last stitch in the next round. So for round 29, we start with a chain 1, and we're going to skip over the first stitch. We're going to place a single crochet in the back loop in the next stitch and in each stitch around, and your last single crochet in the back loop will be made in this mark stitch. Okay, so skip over the first stitch, single crochet in the back loop in the next stitch, and let's place a stitch marker in that stitch. This is where we will join to at the end of this round. Okay, and then we're just going to do the same thing that we did last round. You just place a single crochet in the back loop in each stitch around. Okay, so it should look kind of like this. You can see it's giving it kind of a nice ribbed look. Okay, so I am going to keep going and I will be back at the end of this round. So I am at the end here of round 29. I've got 2 stitches left, this one and then this marked stitch. So place a single crochet in the back loop in the last 2 stitches. So my last stitch is going to be in the back loop of this marked stitch here. And I'm just going to place a stitch marker in that last stitch so I know in the next round where to place my last stitch. Okay, so join to the top of your first stitch, a slip stitch. Okay, so for round 30, you are just going to be repeating round 28. So you'll start with a chain 1, and you will place your first stitch in the first stitch at the base of the chain 1. So you're going to make a single crochet in the back loop, that stitch. And then you will just place a single crochet in the back loop in each stitch around, because we're just repeating round 28. And then your last stitch will be placed in this marked stitch here. Okay, so I'm going to keep working. I will be back at the end of this round. I'm at the end of round 30 and I'm going to place my last single crochet in the back loop, this marked stitch. I'm going to set that stitch marker aside. I'm going to join to the top of my first stitch with a slip stitch. Then we are going to place a stitch marker in that joining slip stitch. So for the next round, round 31, we're going to make the handles. So we will make 2 handles. We will start with a chain 1. We're going to skip over our first stitch, just like we did in round 29. Place a single crochet in the back loop of the next stitch, and then in the next 8 stitches. So there's our first stitch. So we'll do a total of 9. So I just did 1, so I need 8 more. Okay, single crochet in the next stitch. Okay, let's make sure I did 9 single crochet in the back loop. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 1 single crochet. Okay, so now we are ready to make our first handle. I'm going to turn this a little bit here. Okay, so to make the first handle, you are going to make a chain 40 and skip over 20 stitches and then make a single crochet in the next stitch. What I like to do to make it easy, so we're going to skip 20 stitches. So I place a stitch marker in the first one. So there's 1, and then I place one in the 20th stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20. Let me make sure I counted correctly. 20. Okay, so you'll do a chain 40 and then you'll make a single crochet in the next stitch. So we're skipping 20 stitches, chain 40, and then single crochet in the next stitch. So the stitch markers make it easy to see. You just place your single crochet in the stitch after the marked stitch. So I'm going to do a chain 40. There's 40. Be very careful then when you make that next single crochet that you don't get your chain all twisted up. So single crochet in that next stitch. Make sure my chain isn't twisted. Looks pretty good. We will now make a single crochet in the back loop in each of the next 18 stitches. Okay, I'm going to recount here, make sure I did that right. So there's my single crochet, and then I should have 18 single crochet in the back loop. There's 18. So we are ready to make our next handle. So we'll make a single crochet in the next stitch. Okay, again, we're going to do a chain 40, skip 20 stitches. And again, be careful you don't get your chain all twisted up when you go to make that single crochet in the next stitch. So made my chain 40, so single crochet in the next stitch, and it's just this stitch after that stitch marker. Okay, so let's make sure that looks okay. We will now make a single crochet in the back loop in the next 8 stitches. Okay, so I made that one single crochet after the chain, and then we did 8 single crochet in the back loop. Okay, you should have one stitch left here, and that's this marked stitch. And you'll place a single crochet in the back loop of that marked stitch. And then you are ready to join and place a stitch marker in that last stitch. You're ready to join to the top of your first stitch with a slip stitch. So you should have 2 handles. Yeah, it's starting to look like a bag. You can remove these stitch markers that you placed in the skip stitches when you made the handles. I'm not going to need those anymore. We are going to move down to a K 6.5 millimeter hook for round 32. Begin with a chain 1, and you're just going to place a single crochet in the back loop in each stitch along the front here. So in the first 10 stitches, and then you will place a half double crochet in each chain that you made for the handles. And then you will do 40 single crochet in the back loop until you reach the next handle. And again, you'll do a half double crochet in each chain that you made for the second handle, and then single crochet in the back loop until you reach the end. I never took out my last stitch marker when I joined there. Okay, so chain 1. So single crochet in the back loop in the next 10 stitches. Okay, so I did the 10 single crochet in the back loop. Now we are going to place 1 half double crochet in each chain that we made for the first handle. You should work a total of 40 half double crochet for the first handle. So I just worked 1 half double crochet into each chain of the first handle. We are now going to place a single crochet in the back loop in the next 20 stitches. Then you'll do the same thing for the next handle. You'll place a half double crochet in each of the 40 chains. So keep working on your bag, and I will be back at the end of this round. So I just made my half double crochet in each chain along the second handle, and so now we are just left with single crochet in the back loop of the next 10 stitches. And I'm going to place my last stitch in this marked stitch. All right, I'm going to place a stitch marker in that stitch, and I'm going to join to the top of my first stitch with a slip stitch. It should look like this so far. So here's your 2 handles. Let me move this down a little bit. So we are ready for round 33. And in this round, we're just going to be placing a slip stitch in each stitch around. So this is pretty easy. Then we will be ready to do the inside of the handles. Okay, so we will make a chain 1. And this is going to count as our first stitch. So I'm going to place my stitch marker in that chain 1, just so I know, easier to see. We are going to skip over the stitch at the base of our chain 1 and just place a slip stitch in each stitch around the bag and also the handles. Okay, so we're just going to go right up and place a slip stitch in each stitch along this first handle, and then around the bag, and do the same thing around the second handle. Let me show you how this looks so far. So I just did a slip stitch along the front of the bag and then up along the edge of the handle. You're just going to keep going and do slip stitch along the front of the bag here, and then along the edge of the second handle. And then when you get back to where you started, you don't join at the end of the round. You'll work a slip stitch in the last stitch, then you'll just fasten off and weave in your loose end. So I'm going to keep working, and I will be back to show you how to do the inner handle finishing. I just finished round 33 and I fastened off, and I'm going to weave in my loose end, and I'm going to go right into that chain 1 and then into the inside of the bag with my yarn needle. So we are now ready to do the inner handle finishing, and you'll be using your K hook again. So it doesn't matter what side of the bag you start on. So we are going to attach our yarn in this corner stitch here, the slip stitch. We're going to make a chain 1. This does not count as a stitch, but what we're going to do here, we're going to skip over this stitch at the base of our chain 1. So we're skipping over that corner stitch, and we're just going to place a single crochet in the back loop. And I'm going to place a stitch marker in that stitch. We're just going to place a single crochet in the back loop in each stitch along the front of the bag, but you're going to skip over this corner stitch right here. Then you'll place a half double crochet in each chain along the inner part of the handle. Okay, so single crochet in the back loop in each stitch along the front of the bag. Okay, I'm coming to the corner. Okay, so I'm going to do one more right here. Then I'm going to skip over this corner stitch, and then I'm going to start working up this side of the chain. Now place a half double crochet in each chain along the inside of the handle. Oops. Move this other handle out of the way to make it a little easier to see. Okay, so we're just going right along the inside of the handle here. After you make your last half double crochet in the last chain there, you're going to slip stitch to the top of this first stitch to join. Okay, I'm going to remove that stitch marker. Okay, so it should look like this. For round 2 of the handle finishing, or inner handle finishing, sorry, I can't talk. You will start with a chain 1. You'll just, in that chain 1, will count as the first stitch, and you will just skip over that first stitch at the base of the chain 1 and just make a slip stitch in each stitch all the way around and around the handle. And then after you place your slip stitch in your last stitch, you will just fasten off and weave in the loose end. And then you'll repeat rounds 1 and 2 for the other side. Okay, so chain 1. In round 1 too, to make it easier, you could always place, I didn't do it, but you could place a stitch marker in the last stitch of that round, so that way when you're doing your slip stitches around, you know where to place the last slip stitch. Okay, so I did a chain 1. I'm just going to skip over that stitch at the base of my chain 1 and just make a slip stitch in each stitch around the front of the bag and the handle. Okay, so I'm going to fasten off. Remove the stitch marker. Okay, and then just weave the loose end into the inside of the bag. And again, I'm going to go through the top of that chain 1, so I'm going to thread my needle with the yarn here, and I like to just kind of go through that chain 1 and then into the inside of the bag. And don't forget to weave in this other loose end here too. So this is what it should look like. Let me move this handle so you can see. So now you will just turn the bag over and you will repeat rounds 1 and 2 of the inner handle finishing instructions for the second handle. And then your bag should be finished. So I just finished weaving in all of my loose ends, and this is what the bag should look like when done. And I added a little shop tag up here. So I am actually going to add a fabric liner to the inside of my bag. So if you would like to make your own liner, be sure to check out my video. I've pasted a link in the comments section below. But I hope you all had fun making the bag. Thank you so much.